Still working on intro music. I haven't found a good one. Oh, another thing. I don't let me forget to do the surprise. Do not let me forget to do the surprise.
Cool.
So let me open up my notes. Oh, I did want to mention Tiger and T-minus 9 days. Not that there's much to talk about, but.
I got stuff on that topic.
Dude. Oh, yeah.
All right.
This is pretty good.
I like it. They have it at Walmart. It's like the only IPA at Walmart, other than the Sam Adams one, the Rebel.
That's from Rochester, too. That's where Brad's brother-in-law is from, and he's always sending beer back. I wonder if he's ever had that.
I mean, I was surprised to see it there. It's just, to me, it's at Walmart with Rebel IPA.
So what's been going on?
Well, you know, I'm just happy we're here, and I'm not as angry as the last time. Man, I don't know. Maybe it was a good podcast, but there's also like, you know, maybe you shouldn't, you know, you never want to tweet angry. You never want to like talk to your wife angry, and maybe we shouldn't have podcasted angry. I feel like we came across as angry people with that Browns loss that day.
I liked it. I think our listeners wanted to hear some passion out of us. I thought it was a good one. I'm not going to apologize.
No, you know what? And I'm glad. You know, and we don't have a whole lot to talk about with the Browns right now, but since we started with it. But here's what I will say. I want to be. I really am glass half full with these guys right now. And what I mean by it, I tweeted the day right after the game, and it was a terrible loss. It was tough to lose the way we did to the Redskins. A couple fumbles. One we found out was not a fumble. But I feel like this team, for the first time in a long time, this is not an untalented Browns team. Like it's so young it doesn't know how to win. But I watch there's talent on this football team, and they move the ball well. They're not there yet. They're another draft away. But I watched that game on Sunday and even the game the week before. There's talent there that I don't think we've had in several years, to be real honest.
I hope so. I'm not to that level of confidence yet because the two opponents we've faced, since they've been in.
Well, we'll find out this week.
We'll definitely find out.
We're getting a pissed off Tom Brady who has.
I don't know that I've been more excited to watch a Browns game than what I am. It could be horrendous.
But you know what could be? It would be the most Browns thing ever to win that game. It would be the most Browns thing
absolutely.
Ever. I mean, Brady comes out rusty. Browns play out their mind. Hugh Jackson comes up with a game, which, by the way, credit to Hugh Jackson. His game planning and his play calling, unquestionably the most creative play calling I've seen of a Browns coach as long as I mean, I can't remember anything like it.
It's been fun to watch.
Heck, exactly. It's fun to watch. He's taking advantage of athleticism. I love it.
It's been fun to watch, and hats off to Terrell Pryor, who you've been saying for weeks is going to the Pro Bowl.
Going to the Pro Bowl this year.
I totally agree. And every mainstream sports media is talking about Terrell Pryor.
When you watch him, he reminds me so much the way he glides. He's Ken Griffey Jr. Like, it's effortless. It looks like he's not running full speed. He ate Josh Norman up for a half, and ate him up. Now to credit to Josh Norman, in the second half, he's like, what did he say? I went to a dark place at halftime to make sure I shut him down.
I don't trust that guy. He scares me.
He does. Yes. There's something not quite tight enough up there. I agree. But yeah, as far as the Browns go, I mean, I feel like the direction's good. Got to be committed to it. If you're going to keep 14 rookies in a roster, play the hell out of them. Let them learn. Draft another 12 next year. Let them and that's, if you're really committed, got to do it that way. You can't change your mind again after the season. Which
is my concern.
Oh no, I agree.
We can have the most talented team in all of the NFL, and I feel like we would lose it.
I feel like, I talked to Jim Hyatt today, and he and I were talking about the Browns, and he kind of felt like, he said, I think they're committed this time. It's because because of what they did to the front office by changing to an analytic view. By definition, you can't say we're going to be good next year, we're going to be good the year after. And I tell you what, when I look at what we drafted, Ogba looks like he's going to be an absolute
Ogba is a monster.
star. And with when Nassib, I feel like with Ogba, Nassib, Coleman, and what about wide receiver Lewis? Ricardo Lewis. He was one of those. Oh yeah, we drafted him too this year. Picks had a great game receiving the football. The young talent here, Isaiah Crowell looks every bit a three down NFL back right now. He's second in the NFL in rushing?
Yep. I'm
They're
still waiting for these tough games.
No, agree with you.
We've had such a soft schedule coming in. I'm waiting for these tough games.
Yeah. No,
he can go from second to 32nd pretty quick.
100%. Yeah, but I agree with you. And this will be a fun week to watch. Got to go in with the right expectations. I expect if the Patriots play the way the Patriots should, and Tom Brady's as pissed off as I expect him to be, they should smash us. But it's one of those things. For some reason, I have no confidence in an 0-4 team, but it would be the most Browns thing ever to beat the Patriots this week.
It's like when we went to Cincinnati and smoked them 2 years ago.
Inexplicably.
On Thursday night.
Hoyer threw for about 500,000 yards.
That was fantastic. But honestly, this 0-4 team has been much more fun to watch than any Browns team I can remember since the late 80s.
And even my dad said that, who can be the most pessimistic Browns fan. Bless his heart.
Browns fans are pessimistic in general. And I think we're probably one of the two most optimistic Browns fans there is.
Well, I think there's nothing to not be optimistic about what you've seen except your concern. Are they committed? So if they're committed, I'm 100% on board with this. I'm 100% on board with 0-16 if it came to it. If I was 100% confident, no changes are happening after the season.
Right.
That's my only concern. I agree with you 100%.
So and when the Josh Gordon news dropped, I wanted to bring the Catalyst for Change event that I went to last week. It's a fundraiser for the Warnley Youth and Treatment Center in Richmond. Shannon, one of our friends, Shannon, helped us score tickets. She got tickets. We got to go. And Golic Sr. and Golic Jr. were there. And right after the –
strong name drop.
Right after the Gordon news dropped, I was literally talking to Golic Jr.
Really?
And said, I said, did you hear that? And he said, yeah. And he threw out some scenarios about it. So we were talking about – but we also talked a little bit about Cody Kessler. He had some good things to say about Cody Kessler. He said there's reason to be optimistic about Cody Kessler. Yeah. So, coming from someone, with a little more knowledge than me, I'm willing to take his word a little more than my own.
He's played phenomenally well. And the reason I want to see him succeed is because it will prove that Hugh Jackson knows what he's talking about. Because if you believe Hugh Jackson – that was their guy all along on the draft board. Like he said, I don't know, we'll get him. We were going to get him wherever we were going to get him. But he said, he was our guy. That is the one that was the highest guy on our scoreboard and on our draft board at quarterback. So I want to see him succeed because if that's real, his talent evaluation is obviously better than we would have thought.
Solid. And that's some solid scouting right
there. I agree.
So,
we'll see.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I should have put the picture with Golic and Mia on our Instagram, and I didn't get around to it.
He's gigantic.
That's the one thing I took from it. Well, okay, two things. Very personable.
Yeah.
Really down to earth.
Not surprised.
I had just kind of watching from the beginning, how he's interacting with everyone. Yeah. We got lucky. We had VIP tickets. So we got to be in a small room with them.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they were talking to everyone, and, I got to see a lot of people going up to us. So, I'm just, sometimes that can be intimidating.
Yeah.
So I had no problem after watching him with other people, just going up to him. Yeah. So, number one, he was very personable. And secondly, huge, very tall.
Yes.
I'm 5'10", and I barely came up to his shoulders.
He's a very large man, but I'm not at all surprised what you said about approachable because he's always seemed to me like the guy that you could absolutely just sit down and drink a beer with.
Oh yeah,
and he'd buy. I absolutely. I'm not surprised at all by that.
And I'm not going to throw out any numbers, but he was very, very generous at the auction that they were selling things, raising money for that center. He was very generous. Blew my mind his generosity.
I expected him to be a very charitable person. I mean, I think that You know, there's some guys that, you know, as hard as he worked, he was a fringe roster player, like 10th round draft pick. I mean, I still think he probably wakes up sometimes in the morning and goes, I can't believe I get paid to do this. I mean, like, could you imagine what he makes if you and I just got to sit around and talk 4 hours of sports all day long? It's just what our wives want us to do. You know, I mean, I guess if we were making that, you know, Golic money, maybe we'd have they'd be fine with it. But
he left there. I mean, we left at 10, and this is in Richmond, Indiana, and they, you know, do their show in Bristol. We left at 10. He was still there talking to people, and he was on air the next morning.
Yeah, I couldn't believe when I got up in the morning, I turned it on, and he was on air. I'm like, this guy like can't be on any sleep, or he's got 5-hour energies in him, or a bunch of beer. I don't know, man. Yeah, I bet. I don't know how he does it. Well, I mean, he doesn't travel always like us, but still,
he did
good Lord.
Private plane home. I didn't notice if Junior was on his show, which is before Mike and Mike. So,
yeah, he does an hour every Friday, I think, with them now.
So I didn't. He might have been. Well, he starts at 4.
Yeah. Oh, his show starts at 4. Yeah, I don't know.
At 4.
I assume he probably did his show if he came on Mike and Mike too.
Yeah, because he was on Mike and Mike.
Yeah, he probably napped on Thursday, slept on the plane, got back to Bristol, went straight to the headquarters.
He was not a small guy either.
No. Because, well, I'll say this delicately. He hasn't lost all the weight from the playing days that Golic's tall, but Golic's lost a ton of weight.
Yeah, and he made a joke about that, one of the slideshows, introducing him, how the early pictures he was pretty heavy. So he was funny. He was awesome.
I'd still like to eat. Like challenge him to an eating. I mean, I feel really confident in my abilities in eating.
Oh, that was the day after the Ghost Pepper Challenge.
Oh yeah.
I can't even begin to think how many people asked him how his gut was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. God.
But that was awesome. Tim Brown was there.
Wow.
Daryl Gordon was there. There was a couple other Notre Dame players that I wasn't familiar with.
Yeah.
Because the guy who runs that, Daryl Flash Gordon, you know, obviously has Notre Dame ties, so he gets a lot of those players coming back.
While you were there, did you find Notre Dame's defense at all?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
And Golic made a joke about that. Daryl Gordon made a joke about that. You could tell that they're a little disenfranchised right now.
That's unheard of. Did you see the score 5 minutes into their game with Syracuse this week? It was 23-13 with 10:01 left in the first quarter.
Unbelievable.
36 points scored in less than 5 minutes.
Unbelievable.
That's not good football. So.
No, not even close.
Man, I'm so upset. I was so jealous you got to go to that because, you know, I mean, I'm not like a starstruck guy necessarily, but I've always respected. I mean, that show. I mean, honestly, I'll plug it right now. That show has raised my kids. Like, I mean, I mean, honestly, I mean, maybe they don't want to hear that, but my daughter and my kids wake up. Mike and Mike's on TV. They're laughing at Mike and Mike just as much as I am, and so I would have absolutely enjoyed that. I know I would have. You're a lucky bastard.
Yeah, and thank you, Shannon, because I know Shannon said that next year maybe we'll be up there talking. She kept plugging the podcast. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
I bet Golic went right home and listened to it, too.
We saw a boost in listeners by 1 that day, and I know it was Golic.
Yeah, and he was like, what's this shit? This is terrible. So, aside from that, how about it feels like right now, as a Buckeye fan, it's just scorched earth right now that the Buckeyes are running through people, and I don't feel it's fool's gold. You?
No, not at all.
Okay,
not at all because we're blowing people out of the water, and I don't feel like we're playing that well.
No, it's not. It's non-competitive right now, and we're just. After the game, when you hear Urban Meyer talk, like he said, our best football's still ahead of us, and and you want to have a coach say that, but I think you're right. I think he believes that.
I absolutely believe it. I feel like we get off to a slow start. It seems like almost every game, maybe not against Oklahoma, but we got off to a slow start against Tulsa. We got off to a slow start against Rutgers. And then we get into a little groove there, second quarter. You know, kind of slow down going into halftime. We got to string together 4 good quarters sometime.
But you know what? The one thing about I was talking to Dad about that when we were watching the game together Saturday, and I said, we've never seen this before. we've never had a defense so good. I mean, there's like unquestionably NFL. There's 11 NFL draft picks starting and 11 more behind it. But we have never had a defense that had this. It almost feels like they're like, "Hey, offense, just take your time, get it together, get it together." Which I remember just even the first year of Urban, and then that year of Fickle, and even really some of the second year, and to some degree even the national championship year. It was. It felt like the offense had to keep up with scoring because the defense was going to give up some points too. And it feels like this year that offense is just being given like, hey, take as much time as you need, guys. You figure it out. We'll take care of the other. I've never watched a team where I'm like, you know what? I'm not even worried. The offense will get it together. Defense ain't going to give any points up. Like it's mind blowing.
That's what I like right now because I think they're gonna get it together. They're scary. They're gonna get it together.
What's funny is that we're sitting here saying this offense needs to get itself together.
They just won 58-0,
putting up 500, 700 yards of total offense.
JT Barrett broke the record for touchdowns.
Whoa,
get it together, JT.
But no, I get your point. These slower, almost lethargic starts. And of course, we run away with it. It's 30-0 at the half when we looked like we weren't going to score 20 points in the half, and they're so quick strike because there's so many weapons. I mean, he just keeps throwing to guys that I got to pull the program out.
Right,
and
it's amazing.
I forgot about him.
It's amazing. And you were talking about the defense, so I got a little surprise since this now would be a good time to give you this surprise.
Oh dear God!
I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this.
I don't know what to say yet. What the hell's that?
It's kind of dark in here, but
no way. Oh, where did you get that bad boy? No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
Is that for me?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but if we do get a video up, this is a Kerry Combs.
I know you're not probably into Game of Thrones.
No, but I get it.
Right. So anyone who watches any kind of news or listens to any kind of news knows Game of Thrones.
Oh.
So that's, Kerry Coombs in a Game of Thrones scene with an Ohio State flag planted in the dead body of another character.
That's probably the coolest thing that I've ever – that's awesome, man. Thank you. Heck yes. That's – oh, wow. So
yeah. He's a badass. So
yeah, I probably need to. Does he know you got these, man?
No, he doesn't. I tried to call him to make sure it was okay.
Wow, that's freaking sweet.
I assumed he was kind of busy. So
did you make the picture too?
No, I didn't. I stole it off the internet.
Oh, well, that's fine. That's legal. Awesome.
We're not selling them.
You're right. It's just awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, sweet.
That'll be a pretty much a one of a kind T-shirt.
Yeah, it will.
To wear on Buckeye days.
It's on. Heck yeah, that's freaking sweet. I mean, he's my favorite position coach. The guy with. He's got to get on his podcast. That's my goal. He's got to call in. I don't care.
I don't want sponsors. I'm not trying to get sponsors, but if we can get him on the podcast, we will have accomplished one thing. The only thing we need to accomplish. So
I want to drink Red Bull with him.
And the flag planted in the body.
Yeah.
He's always talking about planting the flag. Wherever he is that day. So
he's an amazing recruiter.
Oh,
amazing
absolutely.
recruiter. And you know what? I heard just talk this week. Cincinnati. Poor Cincinnati. They're just terrible.
Man. Disgusting.
Why am I laughing? But Cincinnati is terrible. They're going to fire Tuberville.
Yeah.
There was already talk that Kerry Combs would potentially be hired as the UC head coach. I don't want that. I don't know what I'd do. I don't know how I'd feel. I don't know. I don't think he'd take it.
I don't think so either.
I don't know.
The only reason that leads me to believe that he might take it is because he has a son coaching in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So maybe there's the coaching in the same area kind of thing.
And I know he's a position coach and the draw to always be a head coach, but there's just such a difference running a program. he's got to wake up every day right now and love his life. I mean, he's going to have a heart attack because he drinks 7 million Red Bull every day. But he's got to love what he does.
Can someone please get us an accurate number on the amount of Red Bulls he drinks in a day?
The only thing, I don't know if it's lore or not, but I heard he's got a Red Bull refrigerator in his office. Like, that's all. And I don't know if that's folklore or if that's legit or not. But
I would totally believe it.
So we got a just quickly on. We got plenty of good topics, but before we move on, college football, I would tell you, I want your input. I think we've now gotten enough games in and enough teams in the top 10 have played each other, which is nuts how many we've had already. Gosh. But I feel like I'm confident at this point saying front runners that I think are legit 100%, Alabama, Clemson, High State.
Man, from there.
I think Louisville I don't think Louisville can get punished too much for losing the way they lost down there. I still think they're in the top 4 teams in this country.
They got off to a slow start, I felt like, in that game.
The Big 12 should be blown up. I think we all can agree with this.
Yeah, blown up. Yeah.
Jesus.
At this they were talking about expansion. I think in a year or 2 years they're going to talk about disbanding.
It's and if Texas or Oklahoma make a decision to head a different direction, it's all
It's bye-bye.
Man, I mean, my takeaway, as much as Clemson played a great game. It was an awesome game to watch, but Louisville, what they proved to me, they're real. They're 100% real. And they notice who I left out. I left out Houston, and I don't. And I'm just torn, but it doesn't matter because we're going to find out.
Right.
Louisville and Houston are going to play, so I guess we're going to know. But
that's going to be awesome to watch.
These next 6 weeks, Houston is just going to. They're just going to walk. Right. So
their starters.
I'll include them when they beat Louisville, which. Man, that could be an incredible football game.
Hopefully. Because I'm not sold on Houston. I'm not sold on Houston.
So you think right now if the game was played today, Louisville's just going to roll them?
I think so.
Yeah.
I really do.
I can't disagree. I mean, Louisville, I have nothing bad to say about them. I keep, I'm on the Lamar Jackson. I'm on his bandwagon. You saw a little bit of it in that game, especially in the first quarter. I was a scared young man out there at first. He was throwing the ball. He was just taking sacks. They couldn't get a snap off.
It was a bigger stage than what he was used to, I think.
I remember him saying he didn't, like pregame, he was saying something like, oh, this is no big deal. We played in big environments before. You're Louisville. You haven't played in this environment.
Dude, that stadium, that stadium is unreal. It only holds like 80,000, and I felt like I've never heard – obviously through TV, a louder stadium.
When you watch that crowd when they were getting ready to start the game, or when Louisville got possession of the ball to start the game off, and they showed crowd shots, that crowd looks like a living, breathing thing. Like it's an organism all its own. Like there's no one sitting. It's moving. You can watch it. Absolutely, probably the most amazing in-game atmosphere that I can recall seeing. That place is nutso.
I don't know if I just had never paid attention to a Clemson home game before, but I was not prepared to see that kind of atmosphere.
My takeaway from it, because if you know anything about me and my anxiety and that I worry about everything, my first thought when I'm watching it is like, there's like very like 3 exits, and like there's one long level. If there's a fire in there, they're dead. They're just like packed in there like sardines with no, at Ohio State you got ABC deck, you got all these ways to get in and out. Like it's just one long ramp of humanity that has an outlet in the middle on sporadically to get out of the stadium. It's an incredible atmosphere for sure.
The seats are so close to the sideline.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about a stadium in college too.
Oh yeah, and then I obviously when you see them run down the hill, they touch the rock, run down the hill. The first thing I did was I YouTubed Clemson players falling down, running.
Yes.
And there's plenty out there, so YouTube it.
And it's steep enough, like you could bite it. Like there's not pretty falling, probably.
There's some nice YouTube videos of players, coaches,
tib fractures,
face plants. They get some serious air when they make that jump there.
Yeah, off that first little hill. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was awesome to watch. That was a great game to watch, and a lot of it, I felt like a lot of it was because of the atmosphere in the stadium.
Oh, it was insane.
With a good game.
It was insane. And Buckeye fans are sometimes really protective and defensive of their stadium, and I mean, High Stadium's incredible. It's so large that it's awe-inspiring when people walk into it and other opposing teams walk into it. But sometimes they take offense when you say that another environment's better. I'm going to say Clemson's atmosphere in that stadium that night. High Stadium doesn't get like that. Alcohol plays a factor. Now, those kids at Clemson, they've been drinking a bit, and but it just it was a living, breathing organism that was a crowd. It was insane.
It'll be interesting to see what Ohio Stadium's like. Once we get into some tough games,
right.
And now that they sell alcohol,
and Urban was after it for years. Got to get alcohol in the stadium.
So it'll be interesting to see how we compare. Because obviously, I think you're right. Alcohol plays a part in that. So that was so cool to watch, and it's a 20,000 seat difference. Like when you say 80,000 and you say 100,000, doesn't seem like that much, but you're talking about twice
another
the population of our town.
Yeah, it's another deck. I mean, it's heck yeah. That was something to watch. I mean, I was awestruck by what that crowd was like. I mean, they have two false starts to start the game for Louisville because they couldn't hear themselves think.
Yeah, that was awesome.
What else you got?
So I also thought talking about what you prefer, maybe not like, but what you prefer.
Beer.
In terms of college football Saturday versus NFL football Sunday. What do you think?
Love them both, but they're completely different animals. College football is the thing about college football that's different from the NFL. Obviously, there's no these really complicated licensing agreements where you get one local game on the NFL. I mean, college is one of those things where I feel no guilt for 12 weeks a year when I settle in on my couch and my remote, which I'll plug Dish Network in their hopper. Your recall button where you go like to the next last channel, you get 5 choices at the bottom. I wear that bastard out. And so, like, college football is deep couch sitting day. And it's the games are a different quality. Like, I mean, you can watch some of the best teams. You can watch Alabama play Ole Miss and still be like, plays are slow developing. It's still, you can tell they're college kids, because then you get to Sunday, and I don't like it when I hear college football fans say, I hate the NFL. Well, then I don't know what you're watching, because the NFL, by the product of the quality of play, is absolutely incredible. The speed, your fastest guy at linebacker in college is a 4'6", 4'7" guy, and there might be one on the team. He's going to be a first or second round draft pick. In the NFL, the guys on your practice squad at linebacker run 4'6", so they're two totally different things. I love both. I don't know if I say equally, less or more, but I don't know how you can be a fan of college football and then say, don't like the NFL. The quality of play, that means you don't care about quality of play, because it's incredibly talented, gifted athletes. But
which I think there are probably a lot of people out there that watch college football who don't care about the quality of play. Yeah. And I'm going to say that I prefer college football Saturday to NFL football Sunday, because in college, I think it's a community of fans.
I agree with you.
You have this, if you go to Walmart or out to eat in Salina on Saturday morning before the game, everyone there, or a lot of people there, are going to be wearing Ohio State gear. And if they're not wearing Ohio State gear, they're wearing their team's gear.
Right.
And I don't get that with the NFL.
100%.
So right. For me, the community aspect of being a college football fan just trumps, being a Browns fan. And Browns fans, regardless of their lack of performance, I think are pretty dang loyal and pretty dang die hard.
Looking at you, Bengal fans. No, and I agree with you. And there's nothing wrong with. I mean, I don't believe. And I may have worded it poorly when I said I don't. It's okay to say I have a preference of college football, because I can't argue I'm probably there too. I mean, because if you're You know, the saying if you're a football fan in Ohio, Saturdays are amazing, Sundays are awful. You know, so I mean, I would agree with you there, and for the very same reason you say. Plus, we're good, you know, as a Buckeye fan. But I guess I don't understand. If you're a Buckeye fan, that's one thing, but if you're a football fan, like if you are and you say like quality of play doesn't matter to some people, I don't get that. Like, I love the fact that when I turn on an NFL game and the worst team in the NFL, which happens to be the Cleveland Browns probably this year, but when you think about it, every player on the Cleveland Browns was the best player on their college football team. The quality of play is incredible. The talents that these guys have, the natural athletic gifts that these people have, these are amazing human beings playing football. So I can't get I'm okay if you prefer college to pro. I don't get how you can just not care for pro. I just don't understand. But I'm sure there's plenty of folks out there that do.
I mean, I honestly think there's probably it might be 50-50 in terms of people who don't watch the NFL. Even if they do watch it, they're not watching it because they feel like this is quality football. Yeah. I think people watch it because they're invested in a team.
But can I also – but would you agree that people that understand football would be much more likely to like the NFL? I think there's a lot of people like my wife. Bless her heart, she'll watch a Buckeye game. The Buckeyes are on. May not know a name of anybody but the quarterback, but she's watching for the communal reasons you mentioned, that it's state pride, it's Ohio State. But she wouldn't recognize a cover 2 defense with a man under, or it would make no sense to her. So I would say those that really understand the game of football and are diving deeper into it, you can't not be an NFL fan.
No, absolutely. If you understand football and appreciate the sport itself, you can't say, I can't stand the NFL, but I love college. Okay. I don't think those two things can coexist.
I agree with you. So I think moral of the story, we agree on it. But it is casual fandom is going to lean towards college if you're a casual football fan, maybe you ain't watching NFL. But if you are a football fan and understand the game, you have to love the NFL. I mean,
and I think I would say if you're a casual fan, you're going to lean one way or the other.
Right. No, I agree.
Maybe not necessarily.
But even to your point a step further about the difference between Saturdays and Sundays, one big difference. Saturday, if the Buckeyes played a noon game and lost, I won't watch another game the rest of the day.
I'm done.
Browns lose, I'm still looking forward to the 4 o'clock game, the 8 o'clock game, the Monday night game, because the NFL is this league of, first of all, it's not a league where if you lose 2 games, you're out of the playoff race. So, that's
Absolutely.
Another thing. But it is a big difference for me that it's the whole day changes based on my favorite team losing, and it's not because I'm less a Browns fan or more a Buckeye fan. It's just the sports are so different. You lose a game in college football, it's probably game, set, match for you.
And that's another reason I prefer college to the NFL. Every single game matters.
I agree with that.
I mean, like you said, it's game, set, match if you lose one. But sometimes. 2014, that wasn't the case for us.
But the advantage the NFL has is their ratings, because of their way of doing things, their November, December ratings are always incredible because your team's 6-6, but they're still in the playoff hunt. If you're a Notre Dame fan right now, if you're a real Notre Dame fan, you're watching. But if you're a Notre Dame fan, in quotes, you're tuning out. I mean, what are you watching? So I think the NFL does have that advantage that when you get to that second half of the season, their fans stay more engaged than college football fans do. Right? Because as a Ohio State fan, we're engaged all the way because we're generally in the conversation for something big.
I was going to say, what I took from that statement is that we're spoiled.
No, I agree with you. No, I agree with you. But if you're an Indiana fan. There are Indiana football fans, but if you're an Indiana football fan, when do you just say, you know what, the basketball guys report pretty soon?
I bet you they do that pretty early over there.
It's so we are spoiled, but the difference between Saturday and Sunday for me is the engagement level of If the Buckeyes were to lose, I'm done for the day.
Oh.
Like, I'm not watching. I'm gonna go see what's on the History Channel. I'm going so far away from football, and that's unheard of for me to turn football off. But I'm going to something. Hey, we're watching an Abraham Lincoln documentary on the History Channel, kids, because I'm not watching more football. But when the Buckeyes win, I'm watching 17 more games that day. Like,
Dude, if the Buckeyes were to lose this weekend, I wouldn't look at Facebook. I wouldn't check Twitter. I won't watch SportsCenter for at least a week.
Yep, you're right. It means more. I think
can't
you're right.
stomach it.
Yeah,
because you go from being the hero to the zero,
Yeah.
like that in college football.
You won't have to worry about it.
No. Yeah, I don't think so either.
This isn't, and don't compare it to last year. This isn't that Indiana team, and this isn't that Ohio State defense that somebody's going to run all around on.
Yeah.
So.
Whatever that guy's name was. It starts with a Z.
Xander Diamond.
Xander.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of his name.
He was a child of a soap opera star. Yeah,
Young and Restless, I think.
Yeah.
So
You know your pop culture.
Speaking of soap operas, I did want to mention that Tiger's playing in about 10 days, 9 or 10 days.
Yes, he is.
I'm pumped to watch it.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's good. My head may implode that weekend because if he makes the cut.
Yeah.
Make the cut, Tiger, because I want my head to implode trying to choose between golf and football.
But you know what? That speaks to a larger issue. I'll get back to Tiger, but that speaks to a larger issue. Tiger matters that much to the game of golf that you're right. I'll have every single football game on, and in my little Dish Hopper 5 recall option button, one of them will be the golf no one does that but Tiger.
Right.
No offense to Jordan Spieth, to Rory McIlroy, to anybody else, but if it's Saturday, Sunday football season, yeah, Jordan, congratulations, you're up 5 strokes. I ain't watching yet. But this Tiger Woods thing, absolutely, he's going to be on a lot of sports fans' rotation that day.
Oh, the ratings for golf are going to be out of control that week.
Golf still needs that, man. And what I was going to say about Tiger, and I think I got a hold of you that day that I dropped my pen, and that's important. We need it. But that day that did you see that picture I tweeted you?
I saved that picture.
Dude, no. Tiger Woods. I told you he's back because he's recruiting well again. And if Tiger Woods is recruiting well.
No, okay.
That was Gretzky's daughter.
We're going to try to get this video up because we got the air quotes going on in recruiting.
Oh my heavens. He's back. If that's Wayne Gretzky's daughter, and
isn't she with Dustin Johnson?
Not anymore. I don't that picture. I'm not saying anything, but she was. It wasn't one of those I'm just taking a picture with a celebrity photo. She was in his business. That was.
He had a little permagrin going on
there. He
sure
did. Tiger had that look pardon my French. I'm back, bees.
It's a podcast. You can say it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, back bitches. Yes. So, but he had that look on his face, that smile was intentionally saying, "The Tiger that you remember being good at golf is back because the Tiger that was good at golf is back to doing the things that Tiger was doing." Look, and I'm not defending his actions. Tiger Woods is a terrible husband, but Tiger Woods is a phenomenal golfer.
I don't watch him for his
correct
husbandry skills.
At no point that he's hit a chip in his life, and I've been I wonder what his kids are up to today, and if he's taking them out. You know what? I watch Tiger Woods to watch him golf well. And
do you think Tiger utilizes the timeout? Or does he spank his kids? I don't care.
Correct.
I want to see him hit a 350-yard drive.
I don't tune in. I don't tune in for knowing what kind of person he is. He's a very charitable man. He's bad at being a husband, and I think he'd come right out and say, "I'm bad at being a husband. That's why I'm not marrying anymore." and it looks like Tiger's back to be a Tiger. And if that back holds up for two reasons, for two reasons, he is going to. I have no question that he can return to the same Tiger. But I'm fired up.
I think based on that picture, he's got at least 20 more major victories in him.
Jesus.
That was an impressive picture. I feel like he kind of outkicked his coverage on that one.
He's recruiting better than Coach Coombs right now. That's what he's doing. So,
yeah, that was an awesome picture.
Yeah.
Good luck, Tiger. We'll be tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
I am rooting for Tiger Woods.
You bet.
110%.
Yeah.
I want golf to be back in the mainstream because of Tiger.
And I think golf's found out this year that it needs him, and they won't admit it.
Oh,
but
no.
But you and I, we're very into golf, and we viewed the casual observer.
We took days off for the Masters.
We did
to watch it on TV.
No, you're right. But we did. But the casual golf fan went away. He went away, and it's not a disrespectful statement towards maybe it is a disrespectful statement towards Jordan Spieth and Rory and that group that is incredibly gifted.
I'm sure.
But I still remember some of the Sundays sitting at this house, my house before, when Tiger Woods was in it on Sunday, and I can't be interrupted. I don't care if we had plans. We don't now. I mean, that was the grasp that Tiger had on the television audience of Tiger Woods is in the running on Sunday. He's in the league. I'm not doing anything else, and that's not the way it feels anymore with golf. I can check in on Twitter with Jordan's round. I can check it, but you don't miss a Tiger Woods round when he's in it on Sunday. It just you don't do it.
Absolutely not. You're watching the club twirls and the fist pumps. That's what Tiger is to golf. You remember that Tiger Woods wears red on Sundays.
And and the thing I don't know this. I don't have any ins in the business. But I think I would venture a guess that the Rorys, Jordans, Phils, they want that Tiger back.
Oh,
they know
absolutely.
What he needs. It's one of those sports, secretly behind the scenes, there were probably people that said, man, I hope Cam Newton stinks this year if we have to play him. Golf's not like that. I think golfers genuinely want the best version of Tiger Woods on the course with them. And I don't. Maybe that sport's unique to it, But I really believe in baseball, you don't want David Price to be at his best.
Right.
You might say, I want to face the best David Price that he can be, but I think in golf they genuinely do. They want to see the best Tiger Woods out there with them.
I mean, because golf is such a mental sport, I don't think you can feel like the best golfer in the world unless you're playing in a match where you're in the most mentally challenged situation you can be in.
Agree. Yeah. So. No, and golf's such a game against yourself as it is.
Oh yeah.
That, I mean, I'm 5 under today, but would Tiger have been 5 under? And I think that's probably crept into the minds of some of these guys at majors. Jordan Spieth, when he had such a great Masters start this year, had to be thinking. Maybe he wasn't thinking it at the time, but Tiger wasn't competing in it. But there's still a part of him, if he would have won that, going, I wonder if Tiger would have gone shot for shot with me if he was healthy. Could he have done it? And I think they all want to face Tiger at Tiger's best. And I hope we get there. Hope he shows just a sprinkle of it here in October. And then so that we're so fired up for the Masters that we're taking off work again.
I will take off work Thursday and Friday for that. If Tiger's there playing well, there will be nothing like it. So, I'm pumped for it. I think it's not this weekend, but next.
Yep.
I'm ready. So,
anything else you had on your agenda before we?
I wanted to throw this out there. This is going to be. I'm making a prediction here, and I don't think I've mentioned it before, but I feel like people need to start paying attention to Lance Armstrong. Maybe not athletically or in triathlon or whatever sport he chooses, but I feel like he's got something in the works. I listen to his pod.
Really?
He's got a new podcast. He's involved with an organization called We Do. It's We Do Sports. WEDU, and it's a real vague website. You can only go on there, enter in your email address, and get subscribed to the newsletter, which I did months ago.
Yeah.
And I haven't got a newsletter, so I feel like Lance Armstrong is working on something. So
really?
I just want to get it on tape here.
You know, I'll be the first to say. I mean, you know my feelings. I wore a Livestrong bracelet for years. I have mixed emotions and mixed feelings about it. The guy's done a ton of good. Like so it's not that I can bash him for that. My biggest problem with Lance Armstrong was not his denial, but the people he took down through the process, and it was hard for me. It was hard for me to respect that because if he would have just denied, but threatening to sue, threatening to, it painted him in a. I mean, it wasn't a good look, and he ruined other people's lives from it. And you want to see the worst chapter in somebody's life not be the last chapter in somebody's life, and so I absolutely would like to see. He's a powerful voice, and I'd like to see something good come of what he does in the rest of his life, and it should. He's still, I'm sure he's in incredible shape still.
Oh, I'm sure.
And there's still plenty to give. He's got a lot of years left. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know if rooting for him is the right word for me, but I'd like to think that a lot of the good that he did, his last chapter isn't what happened.
Right.
But so, yeah, I mean, I'm interested.
I just wanted to get it on tape. I think people, are probably going to start to begin the forgiveness process with Lance Armstrong.
I mean, Tiger went through it. We just talked about a guy who went through it.
And in one of Lance's recent podcasts, I can't remember who he was talking to, but he said they were referring to someone else who went through a lot of media scrutiny. Dang it, I can't remember who it is, but. Whoever it was, David Letterman.
Oh yeah, sure.
David Letterman, went through, something with a nanny, I believe. Yeah. And it wasn't 2 days after that broke that the Tiger thing happened.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was Lance Armstrong didn't have a Tiger.
Right. Nothing took the attention off. Yeah. It was the story for a long time. Yeah.
So Tiger's still working his way back through it. And Lance Armstrong is doing the same. And if you listen to Lance talk about it now, he doesn't really mention it, and he tries to not talk about his past very much because I think he's genuinely remorseful. Yeah. But one thing I did hear him say is he said, "Look, I got on private planes and flew around the world to every single person that I felt like I did something bad to try to apologize if they would let me."
Right.
So I think he's trying to make amends.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. We'll see. But
you
heard it here first.
I root for human beings to be, like I said, I don't want the last chapter of somebody's life to be the bad one. I mean, so, well, and on a lighter note, about done here, but maybe we'll tease it. We'll talk about it next time. But the Reds had a bunch of really, really good players on their team last year.
A bunch.
This team full of misfits, young children, basically won 5 more games. It was the stat I heard this week that blew my mind. I had to fact check it, and it's true. I
can't believe that.
I know. So I want to talk a little. Next time we'll talk a little Reds off season. I'm a diehard Reds fan. They lost me early this year, and I don't. I'm not one that's just a warm weather fan. I just didn't feel the direction was right, and I feel like I may even owe an apology because I may have, if with this number being true, I may have missed some growth of some young kids because I was pouting, and so I'm willing to talk about it on the air and say this is my fault because I did. I pouted. I spent the summer pouting, and then to find out that the team I was rooting for and watching every game through last September lost. Won 5 less games than these young kids managed to do. So I think we should talk more Reds. I'll always be a Reds fan, and I want the Reds to bring me back. And we'll have playoff baseball to talk about next time too.
That'll be timely because I'm sure there's going to be some ex-Reds players in the mix here in the next couple weeks.
Yep. So I just want to get out there that you might hear me just come out and say I messed up because I never really thought I didn't believe it when I heard it, but it's
Our
crazy stuff.
Our listeners are on the edge of their seats
I'm
already.
sure.
So, and also, if you saw me like standing up and down, like I'm super sore because I did these outhouse races over the weekend, like literally pushing an outhouse down the like Main Street.
It's all pictures. It's true. It
Dude,
happened.
I'm so sore. Like my hamstrings feel like they're gonna snap. So that's why I kept standing up and sitting down. Couldn't barely sit.
We'll give you an update on his hamstrings next week too.
So that's an indication of our age these days too, I think.
Yeah, maybe that.
All right.
Have a good one, man.
See you.
What's that? We had a lot of good topics. But you know what I like? We dug a little deeper into some of them. Like we've been like sometimes real surface like on some things. We dug deep.